Hello everyone, Peppermint here. Here is my addition to my craft room for sewing and fabrics. I also included things that pertain to sewing, like needlepoint, stuff like that. If it had any type of needlework that was involved, then this is where the organization fit in. This is a collaboration. It is a monthly collaboration. Every month I am hosting an organization collaboration. There's a schedule for it, and you are invited to participate if you would like. If you would, then please send me an email and I will let you know what to do from there. So this month is sewing and fabrics and any kind of needlework stuff. As some of you know, I am working on my craft room, trying to get it organized, slashed, redone, and I have been from top to bottom in this craft room, starting out with the floor being replaced, then the carpet, and then I painted. Here is some new furniture. It's not expensive by any means. It's laminate. It's just the cube organization shelf. It's two shelves actually. The bottom, and it goes all the way up. And this is the 6 cube organization. The cubes themselves are Dollar Tree. And even though they are cheaply made, it was still better than paying anywhere from $5 on up per cube for something else. And in the future, sometime or another, I may have a DIY video where I will take these cubes and make them a little bit better, where they look nicer and where they are a little bit stronger. They are still worth $1.25 a piece. So these are the largest size that Dollar Tree has. They are 10.5. The furniture is 11-inch squares open there, so you can slide in your cube. These cabinets were easy to put together, by the way. They're Walmart. They are mainstay. They're like $45 a piece per cabinet. These are the smaller cubes that Dollar Tree has on top. And what I have in these, I have some fabric in this one. And I have my licensed fabrics together, where the pattern on it is licensed. You know, Turtles, Wonder Woman, Mickey Mouse. And these smaller, I just sat down in my chair for a couple weeks actually, and in my spare time, and I went through all of my fabric and I put my fabric individually in these storage bags, freezer bags, either a gallon or a quart, and sometimes a little smaller than that. If it was at least 1/4 of a yard or a fat quarter, which is like 22 by 18 inches, then I put it in a bag and labeled it as a piece of fabric. If it was smaller than that, or if it was just plainly cut all up, then I put it in one of these smaller bags as scrap fabric, because you can use scrap fabric for stuff. And see, like that. Scrap. It looks like this whole thing's scraps. And I filled up a good bit of these cubes. Now, before I went over to this method, I had a microwave cart that kept some of my embroidery thread And it kept my sewing machine, and it kept my pieces to the sewing machine because it had embroidery with it. It's a Disney Brother, and I've had it probably for about 5 or 6 years, something like that. And it's a nice sewing machine. That has worked for a while. I mean, it was pretty nice. I could roll it around really easy. But I might put that in here in this room, but then again, I'm not sure about that part yet. Okay, here's this. This is new. I have a lot of small spools, and I have almost every color in here that I would need. And in the bottom, I have the bobbins that go in my sewing machine. It takes plastic these days. There's a thing in here, it's green, and it will automatically thread your needle. Not on your sewing machine, but if you're sewing something by hand, it will thread it. And this case just kind of hooks on to each other. And I got 2 cases like this. My pin cushions down here, and I have this little thing that will store needles, and I'm gonna have to get it out and look at it and see what it's all about. I did not buy it. My in-laws got this for me for birthday or something like that, but they paid a good bit for it, so I need to look at it. And a ruler, and a little vintage container with pins in it. So some of my pins are in there. Here are some things that I need for my machine if I'm going to do embroidery. I'm not that great at embroidery. I haven't done that much of it. But here's some stuff that I bought specifically for embroidery. Okay, here is some lace and trim that I use for sewing or have on hand for sewing. I have more than this actually, but this is what I have in this. And I just tried to arrange it by color. And this is like lace, gold. Yeah, the whole thing is, and some hemming things. You know, I'm not all that educated in sewing, and so I really don't even know what to call some of this stuff, what it's even called, and I inherited some of this as well. But I bought these doilies at Value Village because sometimes you can craft with doilies. This bin has some little projects that I started and maybe didn't finish. Or maybe I cut something out and didn't put it together. Things like that. And here is a project that I was going to do for my daughter, and I just didn't get it finished or really even a good start on it. But I was going to make her some sort of a hanging quilt, and it was going to have her college life on it. She went to Appalachian, and that's her colors. And so I've got some quilting stuff in there. And here's some circles that I cut out that I was going to make some tree skirts with, some small tree skirts. And here's some dog bandanas that I cut out. And here, this is part of a wreath. It's a door wreath, and I haven't put it together. There's a table runner. I was just thought the fabric was kind of neat, so I held on to it. My husband's grandmother, she did a lot of beautiful hand stitching. And I'm just not ready to let go of it yet. Hoping that my daughter might have some desire for this stuff. It's okay with me if she doesn't, but if she were to go through my things and find this and want it, then I would want her to keep it if she so wanted to. If not, then it'll be donated somewhere. And that's some of her things. Zippers. Patches. Yeah, I was going to make a 50s skirt, a poodle skirt. And here is a little kit to make those little plastic snap buttons. And here is embroidery thread that you do by hand. And I've got my stuff in there. And a pattern for letters. And just some things like this in a bag. Some buttons and stuff. Okay, this is where I put my bias tape maker. It's a little machine that you can take fabric and make bias tape with it. And my filler, my fiber fill. You make teddy bears and pillows and things like that. And here's one of these things. I just have just about anything in here that you would need. So, scissors, shears, elastic, pencils that you can write on fabric with and then it disappears. Just anything. Seam rippers. And you guys remember these pocketbooks from 31? I made a bunch of pocketbook covers for this pocketbook. And it doesn't look like I'm going to get around to using them. So if there's anyone that might be interested in some of these, they're already made. You'll just need to put the little clip on it that holds it on the purse. And it's the first purse that I remember that they had. So it's the old purse. Okay. If it was more than 1/4 of a yard, then I packaged it up and labeled how much was in there. And some of the time I just guessed because I'm pretty good at guessing. And some of the times I just measured it out. But here's like my license, some more license stuff. Star Wars. And then in the back here is white, solid colors, white and yellow. And here's some prints. Different prints. Nothing special, just prints. Here's a bed sheet. I liked it, and it was better for me to buy a bed sheet than to buy the fabric, probably price-wise. And here's some batting that is cotton that I was making some pot holder bowl cozy things. And some more things. And here's burlap, lace. It's all fabric. And some more lace. And then some, I call this fringe. This is some fringe trim. It's probably old. It's probably vintage. And here's some interfacing. And here's Christmas stuff or holiday stuff, because here's Valentine's and some vintage 4th of July fabric. And Halloween, Easter. Here's some lips. Here's Snoopy Valentine and some solid. Here on the very bottom are my patterns, and I put them in order based on whether it was a craft. Like here's all the dresses in the front, and looks like all the ones. And then in the back here, it starts things like tree skirts, ornaments, and things like that you can make. Stockings, more Christmas patterns. And over here on the side are some pocketbooks, because I did make some pocketbooks, and that was probably the funnest thing that I have done yet, sewing. And here's my stuff that I was making Allison's quilt with. Okay, and here are parts to my sewing machine. It's my manual, and here's some tools and things that goes to my sewing machine. I have my sewing machine. I'll post a picture of it. The sewing machine that I have is a Brother Disney, and it's an embroiderer and a sewing machine. And it's a pretty good little machine. However, it is Disney, so I paid for that part. I paid more money for it than if I had bought the same machine without the Disney. And then I never did use anything Disney-wise, so that was a waste. But the machine is still a good machine. I've gotten a lot of good use out of it. And on the other side of the room are some more cubes for another shelf. And they're mostly the small cubes. And I have one of these shoe boxes where I put my embroidery thread at. I got plenty of it. And that's about all of my sewing stuff. I got another one of these cabinets I'm going to put together for some more cubes. And putting them together was very easy. Now, you know these things came from the Dollar Tree, these little cubes, but they were worth it. And, you know, they are cheaply made, but, you know, if you sew, then you can do something about that. You can get some fabric that you know you're not going to use, that's going to go to waste, and just decorate them up with some different fabric, and it will make the cube stronger. I guarantee it. As a matter of fact, that might be a DIY video for me in the future sometime. Oh, and something else. This is my batting. The stuff that goes in quilts and stuff like that. This is one of those storage bags that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and you just vacuum all the air out, and it decreases the amount of space that your fabric takes up. And I tried to do that with some of my bags that I was using for this, for some of these, and my bags would leak because I reuse my bags a lot, and so it didn't quite work out for me for that. It wasn't I could have made it work out, but it wouldn't have been worth it to spend the time doing that. So that's all I have as far as sewing stuff, needlework stuff, and fabric stuff. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to watch the other participating channels. Give me a thumbs up if you found this video to be useful, and subscribe to my channel. I've got a good channel. It is mostly a how-to channel, how to do this, how to do that around the house. Anywhere from cooking, cleaning, crafting, thrifting, any kind of money saving something. And you will find my channel to be fairly clean. So join me next month in what I believe is on floral organization. That is what we'll be doing next month. Organizing our flowers and supplies that pertain to our silk flowers and things like that. Or paper. So, see you later. Bye-bye.